Hello and welcome to another episode of Bodied, a Cloud9 fan cast. I am locked in here with my co-host Frozencreek. How are you doing, Frozencreek?
I guess I'm locked in too.
We're locked in, no escape.
Yes. Talking about no escaping League of Legends. Have you been watching any of LPL, LCK, or LEC at all?
Nah, I watched a little bit of LEC. I haven't really been like laser focused, kind of paying attention. You know, I watched a little bit of it. Other than that, I can't watch like the other regions because they happen like really early in the morning, and I'm not
Yeah.
waking up for that.
Yeah. I was watching LEC week one. When Vitality went 0-3, and I very much enjoyed that. And then they won this past week, so I kind of stopped watching LEC.
You really just
Because
wanted to see how Perks did, and then once they won, it's like, okay, I'm done.
it was like, oh, they are fixed.
Yeah, you wanted
Okay,
to see how
I guess I'll stop
like
watching.
how long it would take before they won, and then they won.
Yeah, but can I sell you on an LPL team?
Yeah, sure. What is your sales
Okay.
pitch? Give me your elevator pitch.
Okay, so my team this year is Victory 5. They're switching their name for summer, but right now their V5. Rookie is their mid laner.
Okay.
Their jungler is Karsa.
Ooh.
Their top laner is Rich, who
Coincidentally,
I
he's
know you
also
followed.
rich because he's getting paid a lot of money to play League of Legends.
Well, he is actually from Heroes of the Storm. He's apparently known as the Hots Faker
Oh,
in
okay.
top lane. So he switched over, and I think this is his first professional split playing League.
Interesting.
And then their AD is I believe a rookie named Photic.
Mhm.
And then their support is your favorite player, PP God.
Can't believe he kept that name.
Why wouldn't he? So
I
PP
just
God's
expect to kind of like see it like they
someone to be like,
no,
that's
they'd be
not
like, look,
okay.
like you have to change it. Like, can
Yeah,
you?
you would think so.
You would think.
Yeah, but they are 3-1, I think. They lost today, um, in a really intense 3-game series. But Foden got hard gapped by what's his face Huan Feng.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he got hard gapped by him, and SOFM played very well. But they beat Top Esports last week or over the weekend, so very very good shape, and they're my team in LPL right now.
Okay. I may have to
I'm just
watch
a
a. I
huge
may have to watch a game or
PP God
two.
fan. I normally just turn it on when I get around to sitting down and turn it and then starting the YouTube stream at the beginning
Mm.
and skip through the commercial breaks to
That
drive
actually sounds like a really good idea.
and such. Oh yeah, it goes so much
Yeah. You don't
faster.
have to like deal with all the actual stuff in between.
Yeah, because it takes way too
Yeah.
much time. They're doing super weeks or super weekends or super days
Super weeks are
or
cool.
something. And I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday or something. They do 3 best of 3s,
Mhm.
and that's way too much
That's a
to
lot of
watch.
game.
But also I guess now is a good time to change subjects. So speaking about a lot of games, there were a lot of shooting
Yeah,
games happening this
lot
weekend.
of shoots going on. The Halo team getting another dub in the HCS. I believe it was the third Pro Series tournament. Still the reigning champs. They're just too good. Still unstoppable.
As they should
As they
be.
should be. I was actually looking at a thread, I think, where they were talking. Some people were talking about like why Cloud9 is so good at the moment, and it was real. I think someone said it was something on how like they're confident up in their abilities to do crazy stuff that you wouldn't think to expect, and like they do a lot of like I guess like swarm tactics. So like they'll get like I guess like position like mid map, or like they'll get a pick or something when they're like all pushing mid map, and then they'll just swarm around like one guy or something. and then they'll get like another pick off that. From I can't remember the specifics, but it sounded really really cool. And I was looking at it, just going
Yeah.
like, yes, indeed.
Have you been watching it at all? I know that they're playing pretty much all weekend, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
I
Sunday, or
haven't been
something
able
like
to
that.
catch it. I think usually by the time I see that they're playing, uh, I think the match is over. It's already like halfway through. Um, and that's if I see like a tweet about it. I haven't been able to really catch a lot of the games, but it's uh, it's good to see that they're still winning.
Yeah, I haven't been able to catch any of it either. I think the best games for me to watch were actually during our games. So I was sat down to watch LCS, and then they popped on like right afterwards or something, and I had to go make food or
Oh
something.
yeah,
So it didn't quite work out, but I was sometime soon. I promise to watch.
yeah. But they're still doing good. So if anyone's curious, that's how they're doing. One event I did watch though was the Valorant team crushing it at the Knights Valorampage invitational event.
As we've said, huge fan of that name. So
Yeah, Valorampage.
hope we keep that.
They did a really good job with that one.
Yeah. Can you tell me more?
Oh
I actually
man,
didn't end up watching
Frozen,
it.
they crushed it. It was the thing of like the group stage was like best of ones, and then I think everything else was I think best of threes. Um, I'm trying to find.
That sounds right. Were there any big teams there?
I think like Energy was there. Let's see, like Energy, like version 1, they were there. Uh,
Okay.
Ghost Gaming. So
Renegades
it was just like
was
it
there.
was like
Ghost Gaming.
NA teams.
Yeah. So, oh, VU1 was there.
Yeah, like
There.
V1 was there, and
Okay, so it was like a legit a legitimate
yeah,
team
yeah, like
kind
when
of
you had
thing.
like Built by Gamers, you had TSM was there, or like their academy team was there. Renegades, Soar, Radiant, Complexity. Like you had a bunch of like NA orgs, maybe not like the biggest teams, like Sentinels wasn't there, and like 100 Thieves wasn't there, but we were there. Uh, and it was easy pickings because we went pretty much down the bracket stage 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, and then we got to the NRG game and we went 2-1. In for the NRG game, we were actually down, I think at one point like 3-9 or something on defense, and then we came back and won.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we came back and won at 13-9. It was pretty sick. Mitch carried that event. Like he was doing so much work. It was great to see. We did some role swaps that were really interesting. Like Mitch was on like Reyna and Jet and stuff, and I think Leaf was on what's her face? The girl with the dogs. Whatever her name was.
I have
I
no
forgot what
clue.
her name was. I always forget her, like what her name is. But he was like on her, I
No
think.
idea.
Like they were changing up the they were changing up the like the rules a little bit, but the team was looking really good. They didn't really face a lot of like really harsh competition really once they got warmed up, and they obviously crushed it. And I believe in the North American rankings, I believe we are number 1. No, wait, no, we're number 3.
Oh,
Still top 3
still
is still
good.
good. Behind
Still
we're
good.
behind
And
Sentinels and
then,
Envy.
oh yeah. Well, this is a good way to get up there.
Yeah, for sure.
I know they didn't play this week, but is there a tournament for C9 White coming up anytime soon?
I'm not sure. It's hard to keep up with the white team just because they don't get advertised as much. There's not as many events for them to do.
Yeah, which sucks because I do like watching them.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's always fun.
They will be playing in the Valorant Champions 2022 Stage 1 Open Qualifier. Whenever that is. January 27th, they'll be there. I
Huh.
believe our
guess it's
team, I
something.
believe the blue team, since they did go to play in Champions in December, I believe they auto qualify for some. They auto qualify for something if it's challengers or champions. I can't remember what they auto qualify for, but they auto qualify for something.
Huh, okay. I will have to look because I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. I know they auto qualify for something. I can't remember what, but the team's looking good. It's great to see that they were able to play some over the weekend, and I enjoyed them crushing it.
Hell yeah.
But speaking of crushing, or I guess getting crushed, our academy team.
They went what 1-1 and 0-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do you remember who they played the first day?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't.
I wrote it down. They played CLG, CLG Academy
And they're playing
NTS
Dignitas now.
Academy. Yeah, on Wednesday. But this won't be out till after this is done. I think they just won game 1.
No,
I
Dig
was
won game 1.
talking. Oh, they
I
did?
think so. Yeah.
Shit. Okay. I was not paying enough
I was watching.
attention then.
We didn't look good.
Yeah. I said I would report back on amateur stuff, and I couldn't actually find anything. And I think that is because half the amateur team is playing on academy right now, including Lawrence, who apparently changed his name from Speedo. And then Forest something.
Forest Fire, I think.
Yeah, Forest
That may not
Fire,
be
and
his
then
actual name.
Ketong and support. So I'm imagining that's what's gonna happen once the teams get sorted out again. It sounds like our squad will be together by February 3rd at the latest.
Yeah, that's what I
wise.
saw according to like what LS was saying from his streams. It looked like most of the visa stuff is taken care of, and the team should be back before the start of the official start of the spring season. So we will get to see the team unified.
Yeah, he did say that not all visas were cleared right now, and I'm not he didn't specify if that included staff or not.
Yeah. I assume
Or if
the
that was
players were
just staff
prioritized
or
first.
yeah, so I'm not sure if that included staff or if that was also or if that was just player related. But I would anticipate all of our players being there by February 5th when spring
Yeah,
split starts.
I mean, you would assume.
Which is next weekend. That's cool. For some reason, I thought there was going to be a week off between the two.
Yeah, like I mean, that's what I would kind of assume, that they would do like a week off before doing, I guess, the start of the actual season. But I guess it on the same side, it makes sense. Like teams are kind of warmed up, and you don't want to like have them cool down again. They can just kind of move right on into playing.
Yeah, and I think we are the only team with any major visa issues at this point. So as long as they can get a few days of practice, I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see Sven and Isles start next weekend. Maybe just plug Summit in, since he is probably a step up, even if he doesn't speak in English at all.
Yeah, I can see that. I know I did see that LS said from his stream, or one of his streams, that they had tried to like stick to English comms, just because they need to get comfortable doing that. But they're like, well, LS speaks Korean, so we're just gonna talk in Korean. So that was kind of somewhat of a failed experiment.
Yeah, but it sounds like they're trying.
No, yeah, and I've heard that
yeah.
scrims were going well for them, and you know, it seems like everything's going well with the Korean squad. I'm really excited still to see Berserker and Summit play because it sounds like they are insane. Like Berserker apparently has this talent where he can just play a champion a couple of times. He'll know exactly how to play it and like know how to play it really, really well and like at a high level.
Yeah, I did see that, and based on the limited VODs I've watched, he actually looks like a monster.
Yeah, and he
So
can even play like
I'm
there was one
excited.
recently that was posted that he can play Vigar bot lane,
Oh, nice.
which kind of opens up stuff to us playing mages in the bot lane. Summit had a top Syndra game. I'm not sure if that's going to open us up to maybe.
I didn't watch it, but yeah, I saw that
I'm not
too.
sure if that's going to open us up to maybe flexing some stuff. It's like some mages top lane. To maybe help out Fudge, and maybe we do like some lane swaps or something. I don't even know. You know, it's gonna be crazy. But
Yeah.
I
Um.
imagine we're gonna have a lot of good stuff to see once we actually do get the all of the players in and scrimming each other and whatnot.
Yeah. Definitely on that, but they're not going to get a ton of practice time together, which kind of sucks. Especially the other guys trying to play with Blabber, who has a tendency to go hard.
Oh yeah.
And if they're prepared for that or not, that'll be fun, I think. But yes, let's go right back to Academy games quickly, and then we'll go on to LCS again, since we kind of skipped that. Kind of. There's not really much to say besides the fact that TSM Academy did beat the shit out of them, but that's really about it. They play right now against Dig, and then today, meaning Thursday, against 100 Thieves Academy at 4 p.m. So I imagine it'll be much of the same this next week until rosters get fixed. Obviously, the amateur guys are not quite to an academy level yet.
Yeah, it seems like they're really struggling to kind of play together because they've obviously probably not had a lot of time with with each other, as well as probably just not being at as high of a skill level, probably some of the other academy players. But I think it'll be good for them to play at this kind of level because they can maybe pull themselves up, to a bit of a higher skill level, because of that. So I think it could be good for them.
Yeah. So once they start playing in academy again, I think that'll be more exciting. I feel like the team's probably not nearly as good as last year's team without XU.
Yeah.
Who was actually like really good. But that's okay. It is just a place to find guys for for academy.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, okay. But speaking about academy players not being here, I guess now is a good time to talk
Talk
about
about the locker-in
our
games.
weekend draw. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We can start with Friday against 100 Thieves, I guess.
That,
LS was live streaming that game.
yeah, that game we just got kind of destroyed.
Yeah, they were obviously a better team.
Yeah.
That was really it.
Yeah, that was really it. I also I didn't like our draft really. It felt like it was too. We drafted too much like short range champions. Like Darshan had Graves, which I guess maybe counters Gwen, but he also like the casters were saying like, oh well, it's weird that he's not going the lethality build to just go create, to get a better lead over the matchup. Like he went shield bow, instead. So like Graves is really short range and Jin's kind of short range. Like you have two champions that are on like an ammo system, which doesn't feel ideal because you'll have too much of a drop off in DPS where they have Gwen and Corki and Aphelios, which pretty much you can deal a consistent DPS throughout a fight, and much better than Graves and Jhin with how their kits work. Blabber's on Lee Sin, which is short range. Like Victor is kind of mid range with his laser, but then you have to kind of get close to do the Q auto. Isles does have Rakan, which is long, like long range engage, kind of. But it just feels like a really short range team comp into a team comp that wants you to come at them because they're a bit short range themselves, but they have better consistent damage overall. So it just felt like a really wonky draft, and I think that added to their problems that they were playing in game.
Yeah, and Darshan got hard gapped by Someday.
Yeah, he did not have a fun time.
No, so that was part of the issue, and that was including a counter pick for Darshan. But no, that was not our best game. It was pretty much over as soon as it started, but sometimes it's just like that.
Yeah. I think sometimes you're just gonna lose games, and I think with this, it's like your last group stage map. You're already guaranteed to go on to the bracket stage, so it doesn't really matter if you win or lose. Plus, I think everyone was kind of expecting 100 Thieves to be better anyway because they're operating with their full roster versus our kind of cobbled together half roster. So I think it's kind of maybe a bit to be expected. I do wish that we drafted a bit better for this game, but it's whatever. I wasn't really too upset about the loss.
Yeah, it was expected. TSN or 100 Thieves was a favorite for the whole tournament since they won summer and brought back their whole squad. But then they played against Dig and shit the bed pretty hard, and they are now out of lock-in, and Cloud9 has officially gone further.
Yeah, we kind of dodged a bullet, which is great.
Something like that, yeah.
I was honestly surprised that 100 Thieves lost to Dig. Like I wasn't even really watching the game, but I saw like everyone just being like, "You guys, like, what did 100 Thieves do?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Yeah, 100 Thieves is out of lock-in. They lost 2-0." And I'm like, "What? What happened?"
Yeah, it was not, or I didn't actually watch it, but I have to imagine it was not pretty because Dig's team is nothing special compared to 100 Thieves.
No, yeah, it's Diggs is kind of a dark horse roster when you look at it.
Yeah, potentially, but I would have to go back and watch it because I don't know how you get gapped by Neo and Blue.
I mean, Neo is good.
In River.
And I think Blue has potential. I like Blue.
Yeah. And Fake God and
yeah. I mean, not a lot of people were high on Blue
Biofrost.
when he was in the LEC, but I liked Blue. I thought he was.
Yeah.
I thought he was fairly. I thought he was all right.
Or it seemed like a health issue is what kept him down.
Oh, maybe.
There was a mid laner from LEC. I imagine is Blue because he played in LEC for a bit. That had a health issue.
Yeah.
But I actually totally forgot. XU is on Dig Academy.
Yeah, he's on Dig Academy.
So we're getting shit on by XU.
Yeah, we're getting beaten up by our old player. He knows our playbook. It's not fair.
That is true.
But
did you watch the Evil Geniuses game at all?
No, I pretty much knew that they were gonna win,
game?
So I didn't pay attention. Yeah. That felt like pretty much like that game's done. I'm not gonna waste time. The CLG game for the quarterfinals lock-in was pretty interesting. Pivoting over to that, game one we pretty much crushed them. And I think our game one draft pretty much sits to all of our strengths. And Fudge has a really good kind of carry, like kind of late game oriented mid laner. Sven has Ezreal, which has a lot of safety. Karma provides extra safety. Blabber has a champion that can go in and also kind of survive after he goes in. And Darshan's on a tank. Like, literally, this is like our game one draft is like this is how you want to draft Cloud9 to try to optimize success, at least with like who we're playing with right now. At least I felt.
Oh yeah, and it was like a full poke and disengage comp
Yeah,
too. Which was nice to see him commit to something like that.
I do feel bad for Jenkins though. He got
He got
so bullied
cyberbullied
that
pretty
game.
hard.
I would have just quit. I would have just been like, I'm not playing you guys. Can we just forfeit? I'm not playing anymore.
And somehow he managed to stay even in items with Sven for like the whole game too. I have no clue how.
It's the extra gold you get from Gangplank, so like he's able to.
But it was dumb.
Yeah, it's very silly. Like the 1-9 score line is pretty good. Like when he was at like 0-5 or something, I'm just like, I feel really bad for him.
Yeah, I did too. But he ended up actually having a good game for how hard he got bullied.
Yeah. Like you can't really fault him for. I mean, Poppy Scion is like that's really hard to kind of like avoid getting killed once they get on you. And Gangplank doesn't have any dashes either, so like if you get stunned once and you cleanse it with the oranges, there's immediately another stun that can like slow you down.
Oh yeah.
So
I thought Fudge played a good game.
Yeah, Fudge played really well.
Was that his first Corki game?
I think so.
Or was that his second?
No, I think that was his first Corki game.
Okay. I thought he played well. He had a really good kill on Jenkins at the base. I'm not sure if he predicted a rocket, but he somehow snuck in an auto attack too that ended up finishing off the job there too.
Yeah, like Jenkins flashed and he shot a rocket in like
auto.
Yeah, it was a really weird thing. But it was a pretty sick play. Game 2 was kind of sick for a different reason. I really don't like.
It was sickening.
It was sickening. Yeah, I don't like this draft. And that seems to be, at least for this team, that seems to be kind of the issue. And I can understand why to some aspect. I think Darshan is just really, he just excels at tanks. His Akshan so far leaves a lot to be desired. Like it just feels like he just does no damage and he does nothing with it. And it's not like a pick that can like push out waves, like push out side waves really well and clearly quickly. It's not something that provides a lot of CC or a lot of utility. He's just kind of there. And a lot of time, especially in this game, he was just running around. He didn't really do damage. He just kind of ran around, and by the time the fight happened, it was also over. So he couldn't do anything. So like his action so far has not been a good pick. I would heavily advise against giving it to him, even if he is in like a quote unquote counter matchup. I don't like that. I think Fudge did well in Oriana, but
oh yeah, I thought so too.
That was about it. Like you gave Sven Varus, which was weird. And and of course he goes the lethality build, which he's never looked good on. Like that's like every.
I haven't seen a lethality build yet, but I've only seen a few LPL.
The casters were talking about how it got buffed.
And
how the auto attack build got buffed. I just don't really like it because I don't like those lethality builds because if you get behind, you pretty much do no damage for the rest of the game because how I see it, lethality is kind of based around like you get ahead and then since they're down stat wise, you can continue to leverage that difference in like their armor or whatever in your lethality levels to keep yourself ahead and keep the damage up. If you're behind, you do almost nothing. And this was the case once again this game with Varus, with Sven's lethality Varus. I don't know why they don't tell him to just do a different build. He's never looked good on it, but he keeps doing it.
And it was also a red side Varus, which is good for Baron fights and such.
Yeah.
But we were so far behind at that point.
No, yeah, we were just really far behind. We tried to do.
Yeah, Palafox played a good game.
Yeah,
it was all over.
Yeah, his Vex was really good. Like Luger, I can see why everyone's really high on Luger now. Like Luger looks really like Luger and Poom look really good together. Palafox is doing fairly well, and I think Jenkins and Contracts did a good job that game as well. Like they just had a really sort of stronger team comp, and especially if you look at who they're playing, like Gwen, Viego, Vex. These are all champions that were made within the last year, and it kind of felt like one of those things where it's like, look, my champion was made in 2021, your champion was not. Therefore, you lose on just
Yeah,
the aspect of
I hate Viego. He's such a dumb
the
champion.
resets are very annoying, and it feels kind of unfair at times for him to get additional health as well as your stats and your kit to keep the fight going.
Oh yeah, and he goes
Yeah, he goes invincible
invulnerable
for a
too.
very short
It's
time.
bullshit.
It's a very annoying
It's
champion.
bullshit.
Yeah, it's really dumb. The game three. How'd you feel about game three? Because that's where we brought it back, and that's when we looked back on form again. I think that how we played game three was way better, and I think part of that was who we picked, and it felt more like stuff that we felt more comfortable with and looked better with, rather than how how we played or whatever.
Yeah. I think it was nice to see Fudge pick 3 different champions for this. His Malzahar wasn't like good
No,
per
he
se,
he
but
did
it's also
exactly
not hard
what
to press
Malzahar needs
R.
to, which is just press R,
Yeah,
and he did
and
that.
not int. Um, he has some learning to do with him, but he's not a tough champion to
No,
learn, and he'll be
he's so
just
mindless.
fine.
You just press E on the wave, and then you farm, and then you just wait for team fight, and then you press R. It's pretty brainless.
Yeah,
I do think that I do kind of see a trend of Fudge really seems to excel at champions that are really good at controlling the mid wave and like farming effectively. Because like Malzahar, he played well. Oriana, he played well. Corki, he played well, and those are all champions that can kind of farm very efficiently. And
yeah.
seem to just he seems to be the kind of player that, at least for right now, and I can see why some people are noticing that he's lagging behind in CS and stuff, because with his skill set, all he needed to really learn up until the point where he swapped was, okay, for top, it's all about controlling the wave and all about like controlling how the mini wave is pushing and the 1v1 matchup. With mid lane, it adds on an extra layer of controlling the wave in the matchup, but also having to roam and balance map pressure for neutral objectives, which is something that top lane really doesn't have to worry about, or nearly as often. So I think Fudge is having to kind of deal with that, and I think he's not like 100% there yet. But I think for what he's done so far, he's done all right. Like he hasn't looked super bad, and it's not like he inted any of the games he's played so far. He's done well, like individually looking at his stats, he looks really good. I think it's just a matter of he's struggling with farming managing a shorter lane and having to figure out roam timings and all that stuff. Because it is an extra kind of skill that you have to kind of layer on top of things.
Oh yeah. And it did hurt that after Darshan and Blabber killed Jenkins top lane, that the Blanc went up, killed Blabber, and got a massive wave too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's
yeah, that was part of the whole issue there.
yeah, yeah, and
But
that's another thing. Like sometimes with mid laners, like you just can't match roams, and you just have to be like, oh, look, I just have to stay here and farm. I can't go and stop them. I'm sorry.
oh yeah, and it was like a pre 6 Melzahar
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So
like pre 6
it
Malzahar, you
was
can do nothing. Like
useless.
you just have to stay and farm.
Yeah, but I do think it is good to see that he's playing control mages at a reasonably high level though. Between Oriana, Melzahar, and Victor.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think that for what he has right now, he's doing a good job. I'm really curious to see throughout the season how he's going to branch out. If he's going to do stuff like, if he's going to play some assassins like LeBlanc, is he, and can he play some of the more mechanically demanding champions like like Azir or like an Akali or something like that. I think it's good. That's going to be where things get really interesting. His champion pool wise, but
Oh yeah, especially Zir.
yeah, Azir is so tough to do properly, and it's stupid. But yeah, I think for right now we looked all right. Honestly, game two aside, I think we played fairly well. And I think it's also good that we kind of bounced back, both draft wise and gameplay wise, after a really rough game two against CLG. How do you feel about CLG? I'm just curious because I actually this CLG roster actually kind of makes me buy back into CLG a bit after like split after split of them looking just ridiculously mediocre.
If you mean like buying in, like at best finishing sixth, then sure, I'm bought in. But I don't know if they're gonna
Well, I don't
finish
care about
higher than sixth.
placement. I think since this is the first season, this is the first split of this iteration of their roster. I'm more just speaking of this is a roster you can actually root for because CLG rosters of the past,
Oh,
like a couple of years, they've had rosters where it's like I don't really know if I can cheer for this. It's just either like players that they've imported from Europe along with players that have been playing in the LCS for a really long time, and it kind of felt like, why is he still playing when you could try and at least train up an academy player instead? Um, you know, that kind of thing. But this feels like a roster that it feels fresh and it feels right. You have some young players with Palafox and Jenkins. Where's Luker from? Is he from Europe?
I don't think
I can't
so.
remember. Like,
He was playing on 100 Thieves
okay,
Next.
so like you have like young players, like
He's not young though.
well,
Either Luger or Poom is like
well
22.
you have new-ish players. Let's put it that way. You have fresh players in a lot of these guys like Palax and Luger and Poom. Contracts has some veteran presence, and I think that he's kind of looking to bounce back. Cause like after Cloud9, he had a really rough, kind of career history of him just playing on some like low tier rosters. So I think that he's got some fuel, and I think that he's playing with some people that it looks like he's comfortable playing with and have a shot at being somewhat competitive. So I really like the CLG roster, and it's something that it feels good to say after seeing several iterations go by with not much
Yeah.
excitement.
Okay. Oh, so small correction. Luger is Turkish and he's 20, and Poom is 22 and he's Canadian.
Okay,
So
still,
I mean, like, kinda. They have contracts, which is nice to see, I guess.
I mean he's
And
always he's gonna
then
be our boy Frozen.
I know, and Palafox, who is kind of our boy.
It's yeah.
So I care about them more than I care about some other teams, I
You care
guess.
about them more than
But I'm not
TSM.
sure
That's
they're.
all that matters.
Yeah, that's not saying much
That's
though.
true.
That's saying very
Yeah, that's,
little. To be fair,
to be fair.
um, but yeah, so that was a good win for us. But then do you have anything else to add before we move to this weekend?
No, I don't think so. I think we can move on to this weekend's match.
Okay. So Friday is Team Liquid versus Dig. Do you have anything you want to say about that besides give a
I
prediction?
think I think not really. I think Team Liquid's gonna win.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think that I will say Dignitas's roster has been playing, above expectations. I think that if they do upset Liquid, that will definitely be a statement going into the regular season, saying like, "Look, we took down 100 Thieves in Team Liquid in lock-in. Don't underestimate us just because we are not the super shiny, bombastic, hyped up roster that some of these other teams, like C9 or TSM or et cetera, have." So that'll be interesting if they do upset Team Liquid, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the matchup is still Team Liquid favored.
Yeah, I think so by quite a bit,
Yeah.
but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they just went 3-0.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I think that's a safe bet.
So I'm not sure, but I have to imagine 3-0 is 3-1 is probably
Are the
the
semifinals best
most
of 5?
likely.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm just making sure because they
Yep.
sometimes they change, sometimes it doesn't. So
Yeah. So the winner of that game will be playing Sunday at 3:30 p.m. against the winner of our game on Saturday, which is EG versus Cloud9. How are you feeling about our game?
not super optimistic. Not only does is EG playing with their full roster, but they got a pretty stacked roster. You know, you have Impact, Inspired, Jojo Pyun, who's been playing really, really well. Danny, Vulcan, and you also have Sven Skaren and Ignar on the team also, I guess as backups. Uh, they have a pretty stacked roster and they've been looking really, really good. So I think it's going to be a real tough one. I think that, you know, the best that we can hope for is just to have good drafts, and I think we maybe take our time a bit more and play draft more towards our strengths instead of just, oh well, I have counter pick here and I can just do a counter pick matchup. You know, that doesn't matter if it's like, oh, give Darshan action, when it's like, no, just give him Scion, and or you know, or Jax or something that he's more comfortable with and can actually excel at. And you know, instead, that would probably allow him better gameplay than what we've seen so far. You know, so I think there's that. I think that bot lane probably has to watch out. I know Isles and Sven have not been struggling. I think it's more Isles has just been trying to get used to playing against the everyone else that, you know, in not an academy setting and more playing against maybe some higher competition. You know, he's had a bunch of oopsies over the course of the lock-in matches where he's just kind of been caught out of position and he's been maybe trying to do too much or just steps the wrong way. Um, so I think, you know, I think there's that also. It's going to be really tough. I think we can win, but there's also just an equal possibility that we could lose.
Yeah, I looked at some betting odds, and it was roughly 70% for EG, which honestly kind of feels right.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not offended by that. That feels
Yeah,
fair.
I think that they're just in a better spot right
Yeah,
now,
I
and
agree.
it's going
They
to
have
take a
more
few
team
weeks for us
synergy
to.
as well, and you're not bringing in players that, you know, there's just a skill gap I think in some of the roles, and you know, Fudge is still kind of trying to learn mid lane. You know, to be honest, like he looks good. It's not like last year when he started playing for us in the top lane and he was just getting smashed like every single game. Um, but you know, he's still learning a lot, and I think that he's going to improve. But you know, he's at a weird point. You know, I think also with Darshan and Sven and Isles, there's synergy issues and some champion pool issues. So I think it's definitely going to be kind of an uphill battle.
Yeah, some things I would like to see for this game. I think ideally we would just have a wet noodle fight top
Yes.
lane. If we can just turn it into like Scion and Cho'Gath and who are the other good tanks? If Cho'Gath is even good.
Cho'Gath is
So
have they played it in LCK and LPL as like a mid or support?
that was during the
Okay.
preseason, I believe. So I haven't seen him in a hot
Okay.
sec,
I was just
but
curious.
just to see him play like Scion or Ornn or something, I think
Yeah, I was
would
gonna
be.
say, like, I think like Ornn, Sion and Ornn are the big tanks right now. I think grabbing either of those would be immensely better for Darshan in terms of how he plays and everything. I think that would that'd be better for us.
Yeah, and then come like game 3 if it's tank v tank, and then you want to pull out Akshan against an Ornn or something, then whatever. But another thing I would like to see is Blabber on aggressive like Poppy or Zinzao or Lee Sin, and have Fudge play something with CC because Joe Pyun plays aggressively, and I think that that is something that they can take
Yeah,
advantage
yeah,
of.
you could definitely punish that if you had a lot of good like engage disengage. Um, I think maybe we should also maybe just ban Corki. Corky's like becoming a really OP pick because he's been played a lot, and I've watched Corky games. He does a really broken amount of damage. Like with the build that you go now, where it's like you build like Ludens is your mythic, but you rush like I think you rush Manamune first.
Yeah.
It's like Manamune, Ludens, and then I think you get
So the main build is Hydra.
yeah, Hydra, yeah.
But you can put in like Death Stance if you want, or you can get a Hex Drinker and which builds into I can't think of
Maw.
what it is. Yeah. So yes, it does. If you clump up and he hits a missile, it does a dumb
Yeah,
amount of damage.
the damage is insane. It's incredibly broken.
I will say that it hasn't been incredibly effective. I'd have to look at the win percentage among all leagues, but I've been playing it a bit, and the rockets are kind of hard to hit, and you see a lot of missed.
Yeah, that's like the one.
Rockets.
That's the balancing point. Is just if you can hit it, it does a lot, but you have to. Kind of like this. It's kind of like Zoe. To be honest, is
yeah, but he doesn't add a ton, but besides package,
yeah,
I think you can hold on to 8 rockets at a time.
I believe so.
And during a fight, you can only launch off like 4 or 5 maybe. And if you go through all 8, then you probably only have 1 or 2 more during that fight. But it doesn't feel incredibly broken to me. But if he hits a big out a rocket in a group, then yeah, it can end a fight immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
What is your prediction then?
It's gonna be so tough. I feel like it'll end maybe 3-1 either way. I think at the very least each team will take a game off of each other. Who ends up coming out on top is really difficult. I'm leaning towards Evil Geniuses just for their team feels more together and everything. But that's kind of how I feel at least right now.
Yeah, me too. So Corky in LPL at least has a 57% win percentage, which actually does kind of feel high, considering he's been played in 44 games. And the only one that's higher in 40 plus games is Aphelios, which is kind of odd, I guess. I didn't expect that. Yeah, so he is strong. But I would like to see Fudge just play him too. So, but my prediction, I hate saying Cloud9's going to lose, but I think realistically it probably is going to be a 3-1 for EG.
Yeah.
But if we win, I think it is going to be a drawn out 3-2 brawl.
Yeah, it would be a 3-2 brawl is always fun. Those are really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, and it involves us having to win 2 straight games in game 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So we do win. So
I think
that is my prediction.
I think it at least does help that Sven will probably like for players like Sven, and maybe to a lesser extent some of the other players like Isles and Darshan, it's like you're incentivized to put on a good performance because of who is coming in, to be the technical, to be the, I guess, planned perceived starter. So I imagine that they will be trying their very hardest to play well and win. So we don't have to worry about that.
It's also true. And Jojo Pion seems kind of like a cocky kid, so maybe that's something that Blabber and Fudge can exploit too.
Yeah, I could maybe see that.
Is there anything else to add?
I can't really think of anything.
So I can finish watching Academy get their ass kicked.
Yeah. I can't think of anything.
All right. Yeah. So, and if we play on Sunday, then
even better.
Yeah. If not, then we'll be back next week to talk the end of lock-in and then the first week of LCS and whoever our opponents are, because they have not released a schedule yet.
Yeah. I look forward to it.
Which makes a lot of sense.
But
But
yeah.
until next time.
Yeah, thanks for listening. As always, be sure to follow us on Twitter at C9Bodied. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. See you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.